Well, one other driver I want to highlight is Hailie Deegan, who made her debut in the Xfinity Series for SS Greenlight Racing and ran well, finishing on the lead lap in 13th place. Deegan was also the highest finishing Ford with that placement. So, Brandon, I know it's a very small sample size, but does Deegan's run prove that the Truck Series is an unnecessary step on the development ladder for young drivers working their way up?
I want to be fair here and say it might be too small of a sample size to tell by and large, but it's very impressive to see Hailie Deegan get that kind of finish at Las Vegas. First time she hops in the Xfinity Series car. And yeah, the Truck Series, we've talked about it before. It's not, it didn't start as a ladder series. It started as almost an experimental series of sorts, just to get new brands on there, the Dodge Ram guys and the Ford F-150s and everything like that. And it was new, it was exciting. And in '95, you had Mike Skinner and Compton and all these greats from the Truck Series, and it was something to kind of it was almost kind of like, and I haven't said this out loud. It was kind of like a resort, a retirement home for folks who are leaving the Cup Series. Maybe they didn't want to retire yet, but they still wanted to be on the grind. They still want to have fun out there in the National Series. So they went to the Craftsman Truck Series, which we can say that because it's coming back. But as time went on, it definitely molded itself into, and maybe this was further enforced by video games, but your fight to the top. You go from local short tracks to trucks to Bush to Cup. But yeah, now it's as crazy and random as it is. It may be a waste of time for some people, and for some it may actually prove well to be there for a while. But Hailie Deegan not really having the success she wants to have in trucks, and coming to Xfinity Series at 1.5 miles, it's a great result, but it's still kind of too small of a sample size for me. Although I'm really impressed by the effort, I would like to see more success out all the different types of circuits, especially road courses, since that's the bulk of the schedule before we have any sort of eureka moment.
Well, I just watched that she just posted her race vlog from this weekend on her YouTube channel, and was mentioning that a goal for her this weekend was a top 15. And I'll give her all the credit in the world. She accomplished that. She ran very, very well for her first time in an Xfinity car. I do agree. Obviously, it is a very small sample size. We would need to see, a more consistent stretch, and hopefully, and I think she's going to get more opportunities with that. It's just a matter of time before Ford can put a deal together and finalize that. But, we've been talking about this leading up to it. I was talking about this with Kobe on Grid Tonight. I think Harrison Burton's the most recent example. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Harrison Burton ever won a truck race. I think he had some success when he got to Xfinity with Joe Gibbs Racing, won several races there. Now he's in the Cup Series. I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get that Wood Brothers car where it should be up in the front of the field here. And we got to remember, he's younger than you and I are. He's still just a Cup Series rookie. But he proved that, just because the results maybe weren't as ideal as they, maybe were expecting them to be in the Truck Series, when he got to the Xfinity Series, he had a fair amount of success and was able to win races. I think I'm thinking of Ty Gibbs right now. I think he's certainly proven that the Truck Series would have just been kind of a waste of time for him for a year or two if he had spent some time in there. No doubt that he could have gone out there and won some truck races and added that to his resume. But, he clearly showed a lot of talent in ARCA, and he's clearly showing a lot of talent in Xfinity. I think that was proof that you don't necessarily need to take that step on the ladder. It looks like Sammy Smith's probably going to do the same thing next year with Gibbs and Toyota. I'm thinking back to, guys like Ricky Stenhouse and Chris Buescher, I don't believe did very much truck racing, if at all, before they got into what was then the Nationwide Series. So it's not always been a step on the ladder. I remember, again, back in the day, there have been so many sponsorship changes now, but they used to talk about the ABCs, right? Going from ARCA to Busch to Cup. The Truck Series wasn't a part of that. Mm-hmm. It was more like you were saying, some teams certainly used it, and some young drivers took that as an opportunity if there were no other opportunities available. But, you had your guys like Mike Skinner, who ran in the Truck Series when it first started, went to go race in the Cup Series with RCR. Things didn't work out as well as he would have hoped, but he came back to the Truck Series and had a fair amount of success with teams like Bill Davis Racing and had a nice, second part of his career there. And I think a lot of drivers are able to use that. Ron Hornaday is, a more than deserving Hall of Famer for what he accomplished in the Truck Series. Guys like Matt Crafton never really got an opportunity in Cup, but he has certainly made a very nice career, borderline Hall of Famer. I think there are going to be some discussions with the number of truck championships he has. Johnny Sauter had some years in the Busch Series and the Cup Series, didn't have the success that he necessarily wanted. He came to the Truck Series. He's now a truck champion. He's won a bunch of races. I think that that's more what the Truck Series was originally designed to do. And it's kind of been used as a step on the development ladder these last several years. But I think Hailie Deegan might just be another example. We'll see when she runs her future Xfinity starts. Again, one race is a very small sample size, but it was a great run. And I just got to think, maybe there are some drivers out there that I don't know if the truck just drives that differently from a car or what the deal is. I've never set foot behind the wheel of one of these things. I'm certainly not talking from experience here, but I think you've seen it with certain drivers. They just adapt to the Xfinity cars a little bit better than they do with trucks. And I think going forward, it's going to be interesting to see as we see more Ty Gibbses and Sammy Smiths and Hailie Deegans move up. Is this maybe proof that the Truck Series is kind of that unnecessary step that you don't really necessarily need to take when moving up the ladder?
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. If I'm honest, I'd like it to return to a more a fun series. I mean, yeah, it's still competitive, but it's like, all right, Friday night, old veterans that aren't in the Cup Series anymore, and some guys that maybe are taking more liking to the truck than the Xfinity Series car. So there will be some more parity of winners instead of the Truck Series being more of a okay, he's going to win it this time. More of a weekly thing where we know who's going to win already because they've got the most money.